Hello and welcome to this week's coffee vlog on Friday the 13th of November. And has anyone had anything bad happen to them this Friday? Surprisingly, it's been pretty good for me. It's not so often I'm that lucky, but yeah, it's been alright so far, but the day's not over yet. And the darkness again is upon us. I do apologise, I was going to do it this morning in the light, but I didn't actually feel like doing it this morning, and it's all Mosford's fault. So Moz, it's your fault I didn't do the vlog in the light because I was tired. Because I was up till stupid o'clock last night watching Moz play Fallout 4 his YouTube videos, because I'd never really got into this Fallout series, and I was getting through some YouTube videos last night. I found his Fallout 4 ones. I thought, well, I'll have a look, because I've heard all this sort of hype about the new Fallout 4 coming and everything else. I'll have a look, see what it's about, and I just kind of got reeled into it. And I think, you know, the videos were going on for half hour, then another half hour, 40 minutes, and then I think there was an hour and a half. So, and I did start skipping bits, but it was still some ridiculous hours. Excellent content, Moz. I really enjoyed watching you play Fallout 4, and I now know what it's all about. So yeah, probably not the sort of game I'm going to go for, but it was kind of just as entertaining watching someone else play it as play it yourself, and less frustrating actually, because, you know, if you get stuck or things like that, it tends to annoy me quite a lot. So just watching Moz go through, and he seemed to do a pretty good job of doing it, not dying too many times. So yeah, did that. So it's in the dark, I'm afraid, tonight the way back. Of course, I had the big exhibition last weekend in Manchester, and yeah, that went well actually. It went better than I thought it would. I had a good weekend. Good to see a lot of coffee people, because everyone tends to keep in the know of each other in the industry. Managed to sell a bit of stuff, not a huge amount, but certainly enough to help sort of go towards the costs of the weekend. And we had a good amount of interest in the big roaster as well. Obviously, we're a bit unique at the exhibition because mainly everyone there was there making coffee for people to drink, and sort of showing off their coffee they've roasted, and their different sort of origins from different locations around the world where coffee grows. So everyone was sort of doing that, and they're brewing it in all the different fancy methods, as well as, you know, the big espresso machines, and doing espresso. There's drip, filter, drip stations with the Hario V60s, and then there's also things like the siphons, which are quite special. They're like a paraffin lamp burner underneath, and you have like a glass bowl with the water in, and then you have another tube that you have the coffee. There's a narrow tube that goes into the boiling water from the burner, and it's like a vacuum system that the boiling water from the heat there goes up and gets pushed through. It's kind of in a similar fashion to what happens with a stovetop pot or mocha pot. So if you've ever seen an espresso maker, you put on the stove, you put water in the bottom, then a coffee with a filter in the middle, and what happens is the steam from the water in the bottom is pushed through the coffee to make the espresso at the top. That gives it the pressure to brew it. So they were all there doing all those different things, and like I say, we were pretty unique because we were there just showing off some coffee roasters, a 1 kilo roaster and a 5 kilo, and we had the Wager concept as well, espresso machine with independent boilers that you just the brew temperature of each group, so you can change how hot the water for the coffees comes through, so you can tweak each one if you've got different espresso blends, or if you're doing a single origin in espresso and it prefers a certain temperature to get the best from it, then you can adjust that in the programming of the espresso machine. So we were showing those off, and yeah, good bit of interest in the 5 kilo. Obviously just general interest in seeing a great big coffee roaster, because lot of people won't really see that sort of thing in the flesh. And if they're interested from people who roast coffee, looking to upgrade from smaller machines to something bigger, because I think there was someone who was thinking of getting a 10 kilo, but was worried it was going to be too big to fit where they were. And of course we got the 5 kilo, but really the 5 kilo isn't much smaller than the 10 kilo, because you get to a certain point and the size difference is kind of minimal. It's only another 10 or 12 centimeters around, because a lot of the bulk is fixed over, you know, on the weight side of it. So yeah, so there was some good interest. Obviously you're not really getting people picking up that sort of value of equipment on the day, and certainly they're not taking home a 300 kilo roaster either. But yeah, there was generally some good leads coming from it, so should do well for us. And yeah, like I say, we got back at a decent time Sunday. That went a lot smoother than I expected, it seems that everyone had to get out at the same time. One minor blip where we nearly tipped up the coffee roaster in the car park, because it was a bit of bedlam and there wasn't a lot of space. We were parked like across the road from the exhibition centre, so we got a fair more distance than when we went in, because we were right near the entrance ramp and we dropped it all off on the Friday. And we're heading across the car park, and I think a combination of all the movement making the roaster slide a bit on, because it'd been sat on plastic by the manufacturers when they shipped it out, and it's too heavy to remove from that, so I left that underneath and just cut round it. So the sort of general movement and a bit of adverse camber in the car park as we went along, it decided it was going to try and fall off, because I think it just slid over the sort of threshold of where the pallet truck tines were, and it unweighted it to one side, and it started to tip. I had to dive forward and try and grab it, stop it falling, and fortunately another exhibitor who was loading his van spotted our predicament, and he dived in and sort of helped level it. So the day was saved, as it were, because that would have been an expensive thing to dent if it did fall, and also trying to upright a 300 kilo roaster would have been fun when it was on its side. But he saved the day, and also very kindly he helped us across the road with it, and then up on the tail lift of the van and in the back of the van as well. So it didn't just sort of save us from that little bit, it kept alongside to make sure it wasn't going to topple again. So good work, fella. And yeah, it's always nice to work in an industry where everyone's friendly and helpful, and it's not a nasty competition, we're better than you sort of thing. Everyone just sort of gets on together and says, well, we're all doing the same thing, and there's enough people out there around us to all make it a little bit for ourselves. So yeah, that was very good. This week's not been so bad. Work-wise has been okay, it's not been too hectic, so I've managed to catch up with a lot of stuff, which has been good. Weather's been miserable. It says as it starts raining again. Since I've had 2 weeks of rain, and we've had a fair amount of wind blowing about this week as well. What have I been getting up to as well? I watched Spectre, I think it was Tuesday night. It was a bit of an odd situation, really. It was one of those where I'd gone to sleep early, then woke up at 1 AM and was like wide awake then. I thought, well, this is a bit daft. So, and I'd noticed it popped up Spectre. I thought, right, I'll give that a go. Probably not the greatest viewing experience. The quality's not that great at the moment, but got the general gist, and at that time of the morning, I don't think it made a lot of difference to me anyway. But yeah, it's good standard Bond fair film, you know, all the usual traits of Bond were in there. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a good film, interesting kind of end, especially given all these rumours have been flying about Daniel Craig not doing it again. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, it was good. It was exciting. A lot of nice special effects as you expect from Bond, and plenty of bad guys. Typical sort of thing. Bad guy sets up a convoluted sort of trap type thing for Bond to try and demise him instead of just shooting him. Surely is the easiest thing. Just take a gun to his forehead and shoot him. No, we'll set some ridiculously convoluted type of system to torture him to death that he's obviously going to escape from, and then you'll suffer for it afterwards. But that wouldn't be Bond if that didn't happen, would it? So yeah, nice cars getting wrecked as usual, that sort of thing. So yeah, that was pretty good. Gaming, still been ploughing on with the old Toy Story. The lad does love that. And Disney Infinity, still getting some good mileage. Yes, Bob from the other week, you said it sounds a bit random. I really want to do share the gameplay of the toy box sort of thing. I actually looked up on YouTube to kind of show you what happens in the toy box with these little these like vending machines, for want of a better term, in it that'll spit out vehicles on people and villains and things. You go and stamp on a button, for want of a better term, and yeah, and it spits out whatever you want, and you get all these random vehicles you can fly about in as your different men. So and I couldn't find any really that did the justice of it, so I really ought to get on and figure out how to do that if I get a chance. I'll upload a little section, I'll just sit there, stamp, get my character jumping up and down on the button all the time and firing out all these cars and things, different types of cars, Disney cars and motorbikes and Tron bikes and Tron big sort of weird looking things and all sorts of stuff going on. So yeah, I will try and do that, but it probably won't happen. You know how it is. Too many things to do and not enough time. So yeah, been playing that as well, and playing on. What else have we been playing on? I think that's about it, really. I've not been doing that much gaming. Finally been caught up on my Star Wars Rebels again. Excuse me. That's been good new series. I'm really enjoying that again. Oh, and yes, managed to, of course, bag the seasonal requirement that is now the Lego Advent Calendar. Yes, Bob. Knowing that you've now got a grandchild into Lego, there's Lego Advent Calendars, mate. That's right. Every day you open a box and there's a little tiny set of little Lego to make up, or there'll be like a festive character. So I get the Star Wars ones. I believe on the Star Wars ones, one of the ones is CP30 dressed as Santa, and R2-D2's got the reindeer antlers on, and he's the one who's dragging a sleigh for our CP30. But they're not, you know, all of us sort of relevant festive related things. So, but yeah, so Lego Advent Calendars, and they do it for quite a few variations of Lego. It's not just the Star Wars ones. So, if you're not so into Star Wars, there are a few different ones if you look up. But they do tend to be quite hard to get hold of, and I bagged it early on Amazon last year, and I think I missed the boat this year. You get in early and you get a decent price on it, but I was waiting for Amazon to go sub-20s, and instead it skyrocketed up to the 30s now, because they're obviously running out of stock, so I had to get it on Tesco's, just delivered. So yeah, I've got mine bagged now. Pick that up Monday. So Lego Advent Calendar, superb stuff. Right, I am off in, and so I hope you all have a good weekend and week, and I'll catch you next week in the coffee vlog. Okay, bye.